see you're wearing the ascot.
Yes.
Is that in support of Roland Martin? Because I like it. It's nice.
Who the hell is Roland Martin?
You gotta be kidding me.
From Washington, D.C., I think. Where are you, Roland?
I'm in D.C. driving to the train station. Reverend Jackson has his Rainbow Push Wall Street conference, and so I'm headed there to interview him and do a couple of other interviews before I go to Hawaii for a week of vacation. So got to get it in. Yes, because wifey's birthday is February 13th.
Yes.
And so we'll be so R&R, critically important.
Mm-hmm.
But politics is, first of all, Tom, phenomenal time at Georgia State University yesterday. I spoke there. Unbelievable response from the students there. So, again, I give them a shout-out. All right, folks, let's get right to it. Politics is never too far from our minds. And the Supreme Court, they're going to be looking at two gerrymandering cases. One of the reasons why, Tom, Republicans control so many state legislatures and even control a lot of seats in Congress is because they have gerrymandered the lines, pretty much packing Democrats into seats, guaranteeing them these supermajorities. We're seeing it in Wisconsin. We're seeing it in North Carolina. We see it in Florida. But Pennsylvania, the state Supreme Court said, throw those seats out. They're unconstitutional. They appealed to the Supreme Court. They said, no, that order stays. Now the Republicans in Pennsylvania want to get rid of the judges. State Senator Vincent Hughes, Pennsylvania. What the hell's going on in your state?
It's gangster politics at the highest order, Roland. It's crazy. So
they want to impeach these judges.
They want to impeach the Democratic Pennsylvania Supreme Court judges because some of those judges spoke about the issue of gerrymandering during the course of their campaign, and we elect our Supreme Court judges in Pennsylvania. So another reason why off-year elections are important, and so because the Democrats have the majority in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court throughout all those districts. And so so we're clear, putting it in context, we have 1 million more Democrats in Pennsylvania than we have Republicans. Yet the lines were drawn in 2011 so that you have 13 Republican congresspeople and 5 Democratic congresspeople, even though you have 1 million more Democrats in the state than you have Republicans. That's how gangster this stuff is.
Yeah, it's gangster.
Now, you use the right word, gangster. We saw the exact same thing, Republicans in North Carolina. When Democrats got control of the state Supreme Court, a 4-3 majority, they tried to strip the state Supreme Court of its power and give it to a lower court. I mean, this is what I keep trying to explain to people. Republicans don't care. They're not trying to play fair. They're not trying to say, let's all get along. This is pure power, and they are doing things Democrats will be scared to do.
Well, what you have here is the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania said by this coming Friday, we have to the legislature has to approve new lines for the congressional districts, and then by the 15th, if the governor doesn't like them, the governor can accept those new lines, or the governor can reject those new lines, and then the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, if the governor rejects those new lines, Pennsylvania Supreme Court will draw their own lines. I believe that the Republicans will go back to the U.S. Supreme Court and challenge everything that's going on, and then join all of these other cases that you talked about, the Pennsylvania case, the Wisconsin case, the North Carolina cases, and a few others around the country, and then make one huge gangster political decision. And we got to pay attention to this because it's going to be more than just these lines being drawn in these particular states. I believe, and this is from having drawn lines for years now, that the whole issue around Voting Rights Act, and all of that stuff is going to become in play. That's how important this stuff is.
And this is why they refuse to give Obama that appointment to the Supreme Court. They got Neil Gorsuch hoping that he is going to side with them. I know somebody listening, they're like, man, okay, Roland, Senator Hughes, gerrymandering, ain't no big deal. But what this boils down to is pure representation, because all the voter suppression laws, all of these other actions that are not happening in Congress are happening in state legislatures, and that's why you have these Republican supermajorities where they can do whatever they want. They don't even need to talk to Democrats.
Nope, no, and so what you see, and why this is so much power politics, you see all these Republicans around the country dropping out, not running for re-election. Just they're fed up with the whole thing, and so there's a threat now. There's a growing threat that Republicans will lose control of the U.S. House of Representatives if they allow the Pennsylvania Supreme Court to draw these lines, and they're drawn more fair. They dropped from 13 Republican representatives to maybe 9 or 8 just in Pennsylvania. That adds to the 30 or so. So that's 4 or 5 more. That adds to the 30 or so that are leaving across the country. That they ain't giving up all of that power. Not just like that. So or drawing some lines.
Right. So gerrymandered, and again, to the people understand, this also affects state rep and state Senate races, because they are also drawn by the state legislatures.
Exactly. All of this relates to one another. As I said, this is gangster politics at the highest level. It doesn't get no more gangster than this, okay? And you see the snatching of power by these Republicans to preserve their power and influence.
Senator Hughes, is all of this going to be in place, do you think, by May 15th when you have your primary?
Well, that's a good question. Keep in mind, 2 years from now, we're back at this again,
right? And
this leads to a bigger issue, a much bigger issue, which is the issue of the census itself in 2020.
Right.
No one believes that number 45, that's the guy that lives in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay, y'all know who I'm talking about. No one believes that he's going to have a fully operational U.S. Census Bureau and a U.S. Census count going on. No one believes that. He's going to understaff it. He's going to hide the numbers, and he's going to just undermine a true and honest count of what the nation looks like in 2020. All of this is connected. All of it.
This is why I need everybody listening. You cannot ignore Supreme Court races. You cannot ignore state rep, state Senate races. Don't just focus on presidential. The Supreme Court in your state, they can matter. This is a perfect example. Senator Vincent Hughes, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Hey,
Thanks,
Vincent.
family. Y'all take care.
Hey, is the parade today?
Tomorrow.
No,
it's tomorrow?
Man, it's on Thursday, man. Stay out of Philly, baby. It's going to be wild.
Stay out of Philly. It's going to be wild.
Popping, baby. Woo.
And give our love to your bride, Senator.
Yeah.
I will do that. Y'all take care now.
All right, be easy now.